How many opportunities have you missed because you were too afraid to have the hard conversation? Every moment you avoid, trust erodes and problems grow. Today I'm sharing the exact tools you need to tackle any conversation with confidence, because real leaders don't run, they rise. And stick around to the end because I've got one essential tip worth hearing. Okay, point one, prepare with purpose. Leading a tough conversation isn't about winning, it's about achieving clarity and resolution. But let me ask you this. How often do we walk into these conversations without truly knowing what we want to achieve? Research from the Harvard Negotiation Project shows that clarity of purpose is critical in high-stakes communication. So before you speak, reflect. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What outcome am I seeking? How do I want the other person to feel during and after the conversation? What's my role in this issue? Let me share a story. A friend of mine, an educator, once had to confront a colleague who was consistently missing deadlines. After affecting the entire team, initially, she was angry and wanted to set them straight. But instead of diving in emotionally, she paused. She asked herself those 3 questions, and what she realized was profound. This wasn't just about deadlines. It was about building trust and finding solutions. When the conversation finally happened, she led with empathy, saying, "I've noticed some challenges with deadlines. I want to understand how we can work together to make things smoother." That shift in tone, it changed everything. Here's your first step. Before your next tough conversation, take 10 minutes. Write down your answers to those 3 questions. This preparation might seem simple, but it's a game changer. And hey, if it helps, share your answers in the comments of this video. I'll be sure to reply to you within 24 hours with some additional advice. And point number 2, balance candor with compassion. Have you ever heard this phrase? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. In tough conversations, this couldn't be more true. Balancing honesty with empathy is the secret sauce. According to Dr. Brené Brown, the renowned researcher on vulnerability and leadership, clear is kind. Being vague or sugarcoating feedback does a disservice to everyone involved. But kindness? It doesn't mean avoiding the truth. It means delivering it with respect. Here's a quick example. Imagine a team member is underperforming and you need to address it instead of saying, "You're not doing your job." Try this. "I've noticed some areas where things haven't been going as expected. Let's talk about what's happening and how I can support you to improve." In my own journey as a leader, one of the toughest conversations I've had was with someone who was a close friend and colleague. I had to address their habit of interrupting others in meetings, which was derailing team discussions. Instead of framing it as a personal attack, I said, "I value your insights, but I've noticed that sometimes others don't get a chance to contribute. Can we brainstorm ways to make sure everyone has space to share?" That one tweak turned a potential conflict into a collaborative solution. When you're preparing your words, remember this formula. Acknowledge the person's value. State the issue clearly and factually. Invite them into the solution. And point number 3, embrace discomfort for growth. Here's a bold truth. Tough conversations will be uncomfortable, but discomfort is where growth happens. So instead of avoiding it, lean into it. Psychologists call this the learning zone. The space between your comfort and your panic zone. It's where true development occurs. And guess what? When you lead with courage, you create a ripple effect. Others feel safe to do the same. Let me share a powerful moment. A leader I deeply admire once faced a heated situation where 2 team members were at odds. The easy choice would have been to separate them and to avoid the confrontation altogether. But instead, she brought them together and said, "This conversation might be hard, but it's necessary for us to move forward. Let's focus on understanding each other's perspectives." It wasn't perfect. There were tears, there were raised voices, there were long pauses, but by the end, they found common ground. More importantly, the team saw that tough conversations, when handled with courage and care, lead to stronger relationships. The next time you feel that pang of discomfort, reframe it. Tell yourself, "This is where I grow. This is where we grow," and start small. Practice saying the uncomfortable truth in a low-stakes situation, like giving honest feedback to a friend. Build that muscle. Okay, now here's an essential tip. End with empathy. This one final piece. always end the conversation with empathy, no matter how tough the discussion has been. Leaves the other person feeling heard and respected, which is crucial. Why? Because people may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Empathy doesn't mean agreeing with everything. It means acknowledging the other person's perspective, validating their emotions, and closing the conversation in a way that builds trust, not resentment. This single act can turn a difficult moment into the foundation of a stronger relationship. And that's what true leadership is all about. So what's the takeaway? Tough conversations aren't roadblocks, they're bridges. Bridges to understanding, bridges to trust, bridges to progress. Remember these 3 principles. Prepare with purpose, balance candor with compassion, and embrace discomfort for growth. I challenge you, think of one tough conversation you've been avoiding. What's stopping you? Let me know your roadblocks in the comments. Take the first step. Prepare, reflect, and commit to leading with courage. Hey alchemists, if you like this video, I know you'll love my video on adversity to opportunity. Just click this button to unlock your full potential.